To begin with, we have this concept of the people from other planets as little green men. Are they green from what you know? Are they all the same?
Unfortunately, they're not so benevolent.
A fucking alien.
What's good? Welcome Air 51 here with your host Jimmy. Another day in the jungle. Give us a like, subscribe, and also become part. Go GoldenAirBoxing.com for more news and more stories. Alright, so let's get to this fight real quick. So I was hearing that this fight was controversial, where a lot of people thought that Artem won the fight. I decided to see it. I couldn't actually watch the fight live, so I had to see a rerun of it. And I watched it without any audio. I know that the commentators from ESPN and Showtime, sometimes they can be very biased. And I try not to say anything until I watch the fight and pay attention to a lot of the details that are going on in the fight. Okay, not just throwing punches, but other things as well. And what I saw was that for the first 6 rounds, Artem was throwing shots, but a lot of them were landing in the arms and gloves of Frank Martin. Frank Martin was covering himself pretty well, and rarely did one of those jabs get in. And there might have been a couple, but of no significance, at least of no importance to the judges, because they probably saw what I saw. And Frank Martin, on the other hand, he was countering some of those shots, especially when he was putting the pressure. And he did land a few shots, and he landed, in my opinion, more. In fact, he landed more flush shots than Artem did, which were, like I said, blocked by the arms and gloves and elbows of Frank Martin. Also, Derek James is a trainer that doesn't really believe in slipping punches. He believes you can, just guard with your arms and just parry the jab or parry shots with your arms, and that's what he teaches, and that's what Errol Spence does. Errol Spence doesn't move his head as much as he should. He just blocks it with his arms. So that's what I saw. Then in round 6, Artem got a little bit more adventurous and started to throw body punches and apply pressure to Frank Martin, which actually was a good idea, because Frank Martin started to box more. And what happened was that he landed some good shots, and then Frank Martin came back and started really putting the pressure and really hitting him and putting him in anguish. That round number 6, I gave it to Frank Martin. Round number 7 was a close round. You could have given it to Martin. I mean, if you want to give it to Artem, that's fine, but I think wasn't very clear. But once again, a lot of shots that landed in the arms, they were not clear shots at all. Artem did land some body shots, but some of them, to me, they weren't that clear, to be honest. And a lot of people, they want to say, oh, that was a clear shot. No, there was no clear shots there. And the repetitions of Showtime and whatever don't really mean much to me, because they only show like 2 or they'll show like 2 seconds of that whole round where you can see just one landing, but they don't show the rest. So it doesn't mean anything to me. So round 7, you can give it to Artem, but I would have given it to Frank. 8 and 9, I did give it to Artem. I think he started to push more, and I think he was being more successful when he was landing the uppercut. He should have landed the uppercut after the jab, because he is the taller fighter. So instead of just throwing jabs, he should have, waited to Frank Martin for him to get down and just, slip the punch and throw an uppercut. So he was successful in round number 8 and round number 9. Number 10 and 11 and 12, I give it to Frank Martin. He put more pressure. He was coming back with shots, and he was hurting Artem. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's number 9 or number 10. He was like bad in the last second. I think it was the last second, round number 10, maybe, or round number 9. I forgot. Artem was in you know, he could, if it would have continued, he would have been in trouble. But yeah, I gave those rounds to Frank Martin. And then round number 12, I don't think that. See, Artem was doing a good job, but it's like he wanted to throw shots, but he just didn't have the arsenal to do so. And that's where Frank Martin came in, started putting the pressure. And that's where Artem got hurt, and he put a knee. And that technically, you know, that gave him a point. That was an extra point for Frank Martin. And I saw this fight, unanimous decision. I think Artem is a decent fighter. I think he did a decent job. He wasn't knocked out or anything, which is great. I think he was a much tougher opponent than Mitchell Rivera and other of the opponents that Frank Martin has faced. But at the same time, I just don't believe that this was controversial. And I want to say one thing. Steve Farhood is full of shit. I was watching the live scores of this element, and I could not believe he was literally scoring everything for Artem. It didn't make any sense. This guy knows shit about boxing. He should not be commentating, because a lot of people are going to believe this garbage, and they're just going to, you know, believe what he says, and that's how they're going to take it, because most people don't know how to score a fight. I've been watching boxing for many, many years. I comment on it. I've seen many amateur fights. I've trained fighters too, you know, and I can tell you that that guy has no idea what he's talking about. Those scores were outrageous. Steve Farhood is either he has an issue with he's either a racist person or something, but I don't understand. It seems to happen a lot with black fighters. When he's scoring black fighters, it seems like he's scoring a different way. So I don't know, man. Very, very suspicious. Very suspicious from Steve Farhood. Some of his scorecards. That was outrageous. Artem was landing shots. This is true in the beginning rounds, but if you watch it and you kind of slow down a little bit, you'll see most of them landed in the hands and arms of Frank Martin. He was blocking most of it. So anyway, congratulations to Frank Martin, and we'll see what's next for him. We'll see. I don't know if is he ready for a Shakur Stevenson? Is he ready for a Devin Haney? This will be different, because I think that Artem, when you put pressure on him, he doesn't know how to fight backwards. Devin Haney and Shakur will know how to fight backwards. So if Frank Martin decides to box, he might have trouble with those styles. So we'll see. Anyway, peace out. Give us a like, subscribe, and become part of our community here in